The Toyota brand, synonymous with virtues of dependability, affordability, and the ease of ownership that comes with having a dealership on virtually every street corner in South Africa. A consistent purveyor of reliable automotive appliances. If the brand had an account on Tinder, that is what their biography would say. We ought not to forget, however, that a significant part of its makeup is shaded with a truly sporting hue. And in recent years, company CEO Akio Toyoda has intensified efforts in sparking a resurgence of performance-orientated products that pander to those who love to drive. You get the impression that he may have been gifted an anthology of Dr. Seuss books back when he took office in 2009. In many of his public speeches, he is known for being liberal with the word fun and declaring his objective in putting the fun into Toyota products. As a famous hat-wearing cat once asserted, it is fun to have fun, but you have to know how. And the arrival of the Yaris GRMN inspired us to take a glance back in the rearview mirror at some of Toyota's notable hits in this department of fun, before some careful consideration of what the little car signifies for future performance wares expected from the brand. A good year to start is 1967, with a sleek two-door that not only helped Toyota elevate its stock, but also showed the world that Japan was capable of a lot more than robust but humdrum cars for the masses. Oh yes, the delectable 2000 GT, whose sleek silhouette was inspired by a certain British icon, also birthed around that time. But the Toyota was far more exclusive, with just 351 built, and two of those cars had their ceilings chopped off for a role in a film about a British secret agent who found himself in Japan. Of course, seasoned aficionados will point out that the 2000 GT was not, in fact, Toyota's first attempt at such a genre. No, that honor goes to the dainty Sports 800 of 1965. Anyway, on to the 1970s and enter the Celica moniker, which birthed a spin-off in the form of the Supra, which became a standalone model. Then there was the AE86 series, derivatives of the Corolla Levin and Sprinter Truno. At this point, you would want to cue the anime factoids and lyrical waxing from the Initial D fanbase. Okay, so those are just a few of the notable highlights in the global context of the Toyota Performance Chronicles. But what about here in South Africa? We need to cite terms such as Sprinter, Twin Cam, RSI, RXI, and indeed TRD. Yes, our market has had consistent exposure to the more exciting side of Toyota over the years. Now allow us to introduce GRMN. GRMN, what is that? The acronym holds little equity in the eyes of fans, but that could soon change. Gazoo Racing, Masters of Nürburgring. That is what the four letters denote. It's a rather ambitious title and one that will separate the regular wares from the sporting ones in the Toyota lineup. And our first taste of what that experience will bring is in the form of this little car. The Yaris GRMN ends the carmaker's hiatus in the B segment hot hatchback category. And our biggest criticism against the car is that you can't buy it. Only 400 units were built and 3 of those made their way to our shores to be used for demonstration purposes only. We were lucky enough to have gotten our paws on a unit for 48 hours and we're doing our very best to make every second count. With its white, red and black color scheme, the Yaris resembles a clown. Look at its scowling face. This is the character It from the Stephen King novel, albeit in vehicular form. And just like how young Georgie was beckoned towards the storm drain, the GRMN summoned me out of bed at the crack of dawn to get a chance to sample its charms. Which has to be the hallmark of a praiseworthy car. So overwhelming are its charms that you'd find any reason to get into the saddle. From standstill, the GRMN is eager to zing all the way to redline, tachometer needle bouncing off the limiter as you snatch second gear. Toyota says you can see 100 km an hour in 6.3 seconds, so it could hold its own from a set of traffic lights against equivalent peers. Spring times aside, this is one of those cars that does not require fine-worthy velocities to relay a sense of excitement to its driver. The rev-happy, lively nature of this engine, coupled with handling characteristics you describe as chuckable, make this car a hoot around Gerotech's dynamic handling circuit. So in conclusion, Toyota has successfully distilled this essence of fun and sprinkled it atop what was previously one of its most dreary models. We might feel that many of their models might be dreary right now, but adorning the walls of the Toyota Museum is a glimpse of some of the more exciting and eulogized members of the Toyota family. This hall would generally be filled with classics, but today it is empty. And not because of our disregard for the past, our adoration for their previous models were well documented earlier in this piece, but because we want to emphasize that the Yaris GRMN marks a return to the performance arena for Toyota. And the Yaris is the first entrant into what will be a fresh-faced lineup of Toyota Halo models. So how long before we see the fruits of all of this? Well, it's going to be a bit of a wait, but the wheels are in motion. The resurrection of the Supra is nearly complete, with the production model poised for release in 2019. This joint effort with BMW will mark an interesting chapter in the Toyota story, and consumers can also expect GRMN variations of the forthcoming new Auris hatchback. The evolution of Gazoo racing developments in Toyota's passenger car lineup is going to be rather interesting to observe.